right, we got a special person coming up. We got our man Lil Woody in the back. Y'all know Lil Woody, the star witness in this entire case. Somebody write Lil Woody in the chat. He has got his YouTube channel going. Y'all are recognizing him. Y'all are running up on him. Don't get smoked. All right, y'all know Lil Woody is about it. Now, here's the thing. As we have talked about so many times, Lil Woody is a witness in this case. And not only is he a witness, he's actually a current witness. He is the current witness. So we need to avoid asking him any questions about the case, but we can get a general understanding of the man. And Lil Woody, if you hear any questions that's about the case, no problem, Pimp, no problem. You don't have to answer. And if you feel uncomfortable for any reason, you can go and click off. You can have your girl Kayla come up. I don't know if Kayla wants to come up and help you through this. So it's all good. But thank y'all for shouting out Lil Woody, or as Kayla says, Woody, right? Well, Lil Woody, we got our man here. Let's add him. All right, we got Lil Woody in the damn chat. How is it going, Pimp? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming up. First of all, let everybody know what your Instagram is, what your YouTube is, what your Cash App is. I don't know if you can write your Cash App in the chat, or if you can say it and one of the mods will write it in there for you. Where can people find you and support you?
My Instagram is Woody vs. Woody.
Mm-hmm. Woody versus
Woody.
Okay.
My YouTube is Lil Woody 372. 372 on the numbers. It don't mean nothing else.
Okay.
My Cash App is 2FBROCK.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Let me write that down and pin it if y'all want to support Lil Woody's Cash App. All right, say it again for me, brother.
$2 2 F BROCK.
BROCK. 2FBROCK?
Yes.
Okay, that's Lil Woody's Cash App. If y'all want to support him, I'm gonna pin it to the top. He's just a black man like all of us trying to make a way, man. So thank you so much for that. Now, again, I don't know if you heard it, but I announced to everybody that we are going to stay away from any questions about the case. Just kind of try to figure out kind of who you are as a man. And maybe after your portion of the testimony is over and you're free to talk about whatever you want, maybe you'll come back at some later point. But as of right now, we're just going to focus on more of the general aspects. Right now, where are you from? Alo, are you from here? Are you from Atlanta?
No, I'm from Mechanicsville.
You from? Okay. Well, all right. You're exactly right. Mechanicsville, but that's part of Georgia, right?
I think so.
You don't know if you're from Georgia, Woody?
I'm only from Mechanicsville.
Is Mechanicsville in Zone 3?
I think so.
And Zone 3 is in Georgia? Lil Woody, you don't know what state you were born in, Pimp?
I'm from Atlanta.
All right, Lil, we kind of starting off on the wrong foot. All right, we kind of starting off on the wrong foot, Pimp. I'm trying
I don't like nothing about Georgia.
You don't like nothing about Georgia? What's wrong with Georgia?
They won't let me leave.
Well, now let's talk about that, because and I get it. Y'all see the corruption that's down here. Y'all see the corruption that Lil Woody has been under, and there's probably even way more corruption that y'all haven't seen that Woody has experienced.
They ain't gonna never let me tell that.
Of the other parts?
Yeah, I've been to jail for jaywalking. I mean, I've been in jail for walking down the street, and they charged me for driving with a suspended license, and I walked.
Wow, they charged you for suspended license. You were walking.
My last arrest when I got locked up in 2021. I was walking to Atlanta Station, and the police put up on me 100 deep, threw me on the ground, tased me in my face, pulled my shoulder out of place, didn't even take me to the hospital, and then they told me I'm going to jail for driving with suspended license, reckless driving, and carrying carrying a convicted felon by firearm.
And you were just walking.
Yeah, I went viral on social media back in 2021, and everybody see me laying on the ground. They had to go find the car.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
They
So
shot me with possession of a firearm that they found in the car that was somewhere else.
So you ain't even have it on you.
Nope. They said it was in the back seat, and the police said I was the driver, and they still charged me and made me plead guilty to it.
And see. And criminal defense attorneys, we all know so many times, guys, it's in your best, and this is going to sound bad, but so many times it can be in your best interest to plead to something as opposed to go to trial. Because if you go to trial and lose, the time that they're going to try to stick you with is insanity.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pimp? Oh, he dropped off. But we got our man Woody back. But yeah, Woody, like, you know so much about the corruption of the system that people don't get to see on a daily basis. And I mean, let's be fair, it's because you've had so many interactions with the police and the courts. Is that right?
Right. So what they did was they targeted me.
Mm.
I've been in jail for shoplifting, and I ain't never been in Henry County a day in my life.
They got you in Henry County for shoplifting?
2015. I was out on 2014 actually. I ran 4 wheels and the police caught me. Said I had a warrant for Henry County for shoplifting. I'm like, shoplifting? That ain't my motto.
My motto.
Yeah, I ain't stealing out no store. They said I was stealing ink cartridges. I'm like, I ain't know what that was.
Right, I was like, ink cartridges? Y'all gonna try to put some ink cartridges on Woody? Come on now.
Yeah. And you know what? It was so crazy because when I went to court, I explained to the lady, like, I never even been in this county. It was so far away, I thought it was another state.
Right.
People like, well, they know it wasn't you, but it's a process you got to go through. But they offer you abandonment and 10-year probation. But if I was in jail, I would have took it. But by me being on the street, I'm like, I ain't taking that.
Right.
So I had missed court because they give, like, Henry County different from Fulton. They give you one piece of paper with all your court dates on there. And I throw the paper away when I first got out. So I missed court. They put an FTA on me. So, you know, when they catch me again, the lady, I called the lady like, hey, I missed court. I didn't know I had court, but I asked you, and you told me I ain't had to go. So she's like, well, turn yourself in. So, you know, people be talking. They don't understand, like, the power that these people hold. And if they really feel as in you valuable, you're a certain individual, they can do whatever they want to do to you. Like, everybody want to talk, and you don't know. Like, I done been in jail for driving without license, and I had my learners in my hand. Wow. And it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. The police told me, his supervisor told him he had to lock me up. Like, this just ain't going thing. That's why I have so many criminal history.
Yeah. Let's start with that. You know, when did you start kind of, I don't want to say, you know, this with the street life type of thing, but when did you start having interactions with the police? How old were you?
I was 18. I lost my mom. Like, my mama died 2008. And my first time going to jail was 2009.
Okay, so somewhere around when your mama passed, you started kind of turning a little bit. Your life started changing. You started having these interactions with the cops.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say like I was innocent. Like, I just didn't care. I didn't care no more. Like, it was what it was.
Yeah, and you know, you say you're from Mechanicsville. Can you explain to the people like how Mechanicsville is? What's the atmosphere? Is it like high income or is it lower income?
It's low income. It's a community full of a lot of people with nothing better to do. So it's like we don't have people in the community. We have some that try, but these are people that's from the community that try. We don't have people that try to inspire us to be better, to motivate us to do different. So, you know, just like every other neighborhood in Atlanta, we adapt to our environment.
Right. And you mentioned your mother. Did you grow up with your father too, or he wasn't really around?
Before my father died. I was staying in Bourne Homes. That's like on the west side of Atlanta. He passed away in 2001. He died from cancer, but he also the moment he died, I don't know if he died from the cancer, but they had a car wreck and he flew out the window, so he was pronounced dead on the scene.
Okay, that was in 2001. And then, years later, 2008, I think you mentioned when your mama passed.
Yeah, she died 2008.
So you were around, what, 18 at that time, and you didn't have any kind of parental support there after that.
Well, actually, I removed myself from my family. Like I just took to the streets. When my mama died, it was like I felt alone in this world. So I just went to the streets and started hanging with people and started feeling like they were my family and just started, embracing them as they was my family.
Right. And were you able to finish high school, or that really didn't pan out?
You won't even believe me, man. My mama died. She died 2008. I went back to school on the first day back after summer, and as soon as I walked through the door, they took me in the office and told me that I'd been expelled.
Really?
The first day back.
What grade was that?
So it was like the
like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So you were expelled. So after that, maybe like 10th grade, you weren't able to finish. You weren't able to go back.
Yeah, I didn't care for school anyway though, because it was just like I was just going because my mama. I would, you know what I mean. So when she died, I was like, well, y'all keep them papers. I don't need them.
Right. And so then, what were you doing in 10th, 11th grade? What was your life like if you weren't going to school?
Oh well, when I was going to school, I was acting a fool. You know what I mean. So, but it was different though, like because I had my mama, so I really wasn't trying to, go too far. But I was smart in my class. I was just aside. I was smart. I used to participate in a lot of the work because once I got in high school, I got them to take me out to special classes because I wasn't taking special classes in high school. I was tired of that.
Okay, so you were taking like a special education classes in elementary school?
Elementary and middle school.
Elementary and middle school. And then when you got to high school, you decided the special classes really weren't for you anymore.
So I take a special class because I have a hearing problem.
Okay.
So they was teaching me how to. I know how to do sign language.
Oh really? Okay.
So it was just a precaution just in case I might lose the hearing in my other ear. So as I learned it, I was like, it's no point for me. Like I'm not going to be taking these classes teaching. I'm in high school. They teach me elementary school work.
Right. So, it can kind of be almost degrading or like insulting, right? To a certain extent.
Right.
I feel you. So then you got out of those classes and then you decided your mother passed and you decided that, really the only reason you were going to school was because your mother was kind of pressuring you to do that. And when she was gone, you decided to just really take yourself out of the schooling environment. And so
when I was going to school, I just get picked on by the people that like who knew me because they be like, you in slow classes. I didn't like it.
Right.
So I used to tell my mama all the time, like, I'm not going back to them classes. So I used to get picked on by it did something to me. So I used to go to class and pick on the people in the class. I used to beat them up and do little evil things to them because I didn't know any better.
Right.
So when people did something to me, it created anger in me.
And you mentioned, even your name, like Lil Woody, right? I could see how people might want to pick on you. How tall are you?
5'6".
5'6". Okay. So yeah, maybe sometimes the smaller dudes.
Ain't nobody picking on me no more though.
Oh, okay, there.
Stop that. Yeah.
Your boy strapped up. Okay. Yeah, we saw that. You ain't taking no slights. We absolutely saw that. You were real with it. That's for damn sure. And so after you took yourself out of high school, kind of 11th grade, 10th grade, like what were you doing on a daily basis if you weren't going to school? You were just kind of out in the streets?
Yes, I had my best friend, his name DB. Man, him used to just kick it a lot. He was a fly dude. Like he wanted them to like shoot dice and talk to girls. Man, him just kicked it, on a daily basis every day and just spent time with each other. And one day, he ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
So when, I was in my feelings about something that I shouldn't have been in my feelings about. And I got mad at them and didn't let them go with us. And he went somewhere else and, you know, that was the end of that. That
That
well,
was,
not the end of that, but this, you know, he lost his life. So I blame myself all these years because I feel like if I would let him get in the car, he would have still been here.
mm.
And I wasn't mad with him. I was mad with my other friend, but he didn't pick a side. So I'm like, well, you ain't picking a side. It is you picking a side. So you with him, you stay with him. And I don't do that no more. So now it's just be like, yeah, it just took me down another path.
Okay, so you had a best friend, and there was another dude that you were having a disagreement with.
It was my cousin. I had a disagreement with my cousin. We all hang together.
Mm-hmm.
And I did something that I should never did, but I did it for good purposes. And my cousin was like, "Bro, you wrong, bro. Don't do that. Like, man, I brought this person out here." And I was like, "Well, he better take this money. If he don't get this money, he ain't gonna get nothing." Anyway, the dude, like, he didn't want the money. So long story short, my cousin went act like he wanted to defend him. And I told my cousin, "Well, you want to defend him, you can get his treatment." And me and my cousin fell out. And DB was like, he didn't want nothing to do with it. He ain't picking my side, he ain't picking his side. And me, I was an angry bird. So I was like, "Well, you did just pick your side." And I let him and my cousin, I told them they couldn't ride with us. And they went to another neighborhood and he ended up getting killed. That's how they went.
Mm. And then you ended up blaming yourself for not. I mean, and no one can.
I
None of
end
us
up
can.
going I end up going through that neighborhood every day.
Really?
Yeah, I went through that every day.
Mm. Did they ever
Yeah.
find the people that killed him?
Nah, they didn't care. They said it was gang related.
Well,
Um,
and
you
that's
know, they
another. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
yeah, they were too busy trying to figure out what I knew. Cause whatever leads they were getting, they was already getting rumors that I had already been through there.
Mm. Yeah, and this is another thing too, talking about the corruption. Sometimes police officers are very interested in solving a case, and then sometimes they're not interested at all, right? And if
Now
they
they
get,
ain't.
yeah, and if they
Yeah.
label something, oh, it's gang related, oh, if it's this or that,
If
they
you
ain't
want
really
just
looking.
if you want justice for your people, if something happens to your people, just go tear the shit up. They're gonna make
Mm.
them investigate then.
when the streets get hot, huh? That's when they're
Mhm.
gonna start looking.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was in your early teens, or that was in your late teens, and then in your 20s. How old are you now?
30. I'm 32. I think.
32. Okay.
Yeah. I born in 91.
Okay. So then in your early 20s, you were having more interactions with the cops, or kind of what was going on in your early 20s?
In my early 20s, I was in the feds.
The feds. Okay, what happened to land you in the feds?
Well, my name was at the top of the police radar. People was calling police on me every day. Everywhere I went, they was telling police I was doing this, I was doing that.
All right,
And
well, let's stop right there, because when you say that your name is at the top of the police radar, like, how did it get there? Because usually, you have to. There's a reason why cops start to focus on you, right? How did your name get so hot in the streets where cops were hearing about you?
well, let's just say, if you don't bother me, I don't bother you.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, they listen to music. So many people didn't like me, and they feel like the best way to get rid of me was to put the police on me. So it was a lot. It was a lot of people just calling in saying I was doing this and doing that, and a lot of stuff I was doing. I don't care. I'm not ashamed of it. Like, there's a phrase I had to go through in life, and I pray nobody ever get me back in their mindset. But it is what it is.
Got you. So you were doing some things, and people weren't liking it, and people were reporting you to the police. You started to develop a reputation with the police. Is that right?
Well, actually, I already had a reputation, but not with the police. I had a reputation in the street.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started you know, taking on certain path in life, then here they go. You feel me? Everywhere I go, they right there. I spit on the ground, they right there. Like,
The police.
yeah, they right there. So even recently, like the last time I just got a release, I went to court. Judge Cross, I mean, what her name? Rachel, the one who they
Mm-hmm.
tried. She was my judge. She when I walked in her courtroom, they violated my rights. It took them
Wait.
like
So let me just back up here. You know, Judge Glanville was the judge on this whole Young Thug case, and then Brian Steele. We've read all these motions, guys. Everybody's trying to get Brian Steele off the case. I'm not Brian Steele. Everybody's trying to get Judge Glanville off the case, and so now this case has been assigned to Judge Cross. And what you're saying is Judge Cross was the judge in your most recent criminal case, apart
the
from
last one I just got out on.
Mm-hmm. What was that about?
When I got locked up in the land station, they put a gun on me.
Oh, that one. Okay. And so Judge Cross was the judge for that.
Yeah, I never seen this judge before. I never heard of her. It was my first time going to friend her, and she was like, "I know who you is."
Really?
I'm like, "How you know who I am?" So I don't know what type of story they got of me on in that courthouse. But my lawyer, Melanie, he came through. He got me that bond.
Mm-hmm.
And the prosecutor, they tried everything in the power to get them to deny my bond because they really were holding me in jail. They wouldn't let me out. So they like he's a gang member. He's this, he that. The judge like, well, y'all didn't do y'all part. I gotta get him a bond. So they like, well, can you give him house arrest? Can you give him curfew? The judge like, no, it's just a possession charge. It's not that serious. So why wouldn't she give me a $30,000 bond and I get back to the jail? I can't. It's certain stuff I can't say, so I had to leave out.
Yeah.
But it took me 2 weeks to get out of jail. So
Wow.
me and Melnick going back and forth. Melnick tell me that, well, somehow the state went to the judge and now they ordered me an ankle monitor and abandoned me from zone 3 and banned me from on Bankhead. So when I first got out of jail, I'm in jail 2 weeks after I got a bond. They didn't put it in the system.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
So 2 weeks now. So I'm telling Melton, like, bro, look, I'm losing my mind in here. Get ankle monitor, bro. I ain't tripping, bro. I ain't tripping. Get ankle monitor. So Melton was like, you sure? So finally, I got putting the pressure on Melton to sign off for it because I was tired of sitting in jail. They put me on house arrest. I mean, they put me on the house ankle monitor and told me I couldn't go nowhere within zone 3. I couldn't go on Bankhead. I can't talk to nobody that affiliated with any gang, specifically certain gangs. Take pictures, none of it. So this what they did to me. I tricked them when I got out of jail. They thought I was gonna be stupid and go back and violate my conditions so they could lock me back up. I stayed in the house. I stayed in the house. I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't go around nobody, nothing. So after like 3 months, they realized I wasn't gonna fall for it. They gave me a court date and told me that I could plead guilty to this charge. I'm like, well, I'm pleading guilty to a charge that I didn't have. They're like, well, this is the only way you can get off the ankle monitor.
Jesus. And guys, listen, Georgia is really good for some reason about banishments. And a lot of times, especially in these rural counties that are white and they don't want your black ass in there, if they catch you in there, they will make a part of your sentence that you are banished from the county. That means that you can never go back. And if any police officer sees you within the county, they can arrest you, right? Because you were in violation of your plea agreement because you agreed to be banished from the county. And
I didn't mean to cut you out, but you know the worst part about it? Guess why they gave me the ankle monitor?
Oh, they gave you the ankle monitor to track your location to see if you violated that.
No, they gave it to me because they just believed, they knew I was going to violate it.
Yeah, they know you're going to be up there on Bankhead. Huh?
But they gave it to me because they said APD is afraid of me. They don't want me on the street. They don't want me in Atlanta. And I'm public enemy number 1 to them. And so I'm hearing this from the state.
Jesus.
I'm not hearing this from my lawyer. I'm hearing this from the DA's mouth. I'm hearing this from the courts. Like, so I'm like, APD. And once I'm hearing this, I'm like, I ain't never been a threat to the Atlanta police. Right. Only thing I ever did was ran from them. Like, I ain't never, well, I can't say that, but
right, but it shouldn't be, whatever you've done shouldn't rise to the level of scrutiny of attention that you're getting from them. Like, you're getting way too much heat. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Like, they had I seen, like, I was somewhere the other day and they saw me, and you know what they did? They put up like 10 cars and just sat there and just watched me.
Jesus.
So I pull out my phone and start recording them. Like, okay, they about to harass me, y'all. I don't run from it no more. I'm not intimidated by them no more. Like, I don't bother them. I ain't break no laws or nothing. I just ask them to leave me alone. I'm just trying to live my life.
Live your life 100%. Oh, we lost him again. We got little Woody back. Thank you so much for coming back. And I know sometimes with this live streaming, so many technical issues. So thank you for being patient. So you mentioned in your early 20s, I mean, you were in the streets and then you went into the feds.
Yeah.
Okay. What landed you there? What was going on then? And this is a closed case, right? So you can kind of talk about it.
I can speak on it closed. Okay. All my cases are closed out. Can't nobody do nothing to me but put fake charges on me. That's all they can do.
Gotcha. Yeah. What happened when you were with the feds?
Somebody called a tip line, told them I had a machine gun, and I was in the recreation center.
Oh, you were in the recreation center with a machine gun?
That's
allegedly.
They police were watching me, and I was in my neighborhood playing basketball. They seen me with a bag in my hand. They automatically assumed it was a gun in there because all the things that been going on in the street, they didn't like the way I was walking up the street, like I didn't have a can of world. So they called the tip line on me, acting as in they're a civilian, and they come in there and get the bag, and they say they found a gun in there. Well, they did find a gun. I'm not gonna say they found a gun, and they didn't know they didn't have the camera to show that I brought it in. So what they did was they took me from one place. They took me from my neighborhood because all the people started, screaming at police, throwing rocks at the cars and stuff.
Wow.
So they took me from right there and took me to turn the field. And
here he is again. All right. So you mentioned.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't know you had did it so fast.
Oh, my bad. All right. So you had mentioned that there was an incident with the at the recreational center with the machine gun. The cops got you for that. Did you end up taking that to trial, or you ended up pleading that?
Well, I was going to trial for it. So I had to fight two federal defenders.
Jesus.
The first federal defender came. He was like, "Oh man, this case is bull. It's trash. We're gonna beat it. Everything the cops did was illegal, whatever." So the secretary came to see me. He was like, "They want to talk with you. They want you to cooperate." So I said, "What is cooperating?" He said, "I don't know. They want information." I said, "Well, I don't know nothing about no information." Like I told him out the rip, like I'm a liar. You feel me? Like, so he was like, "Well, they believe you got some valuable information." Long story short, I told him I don't know nothing. This lawyer behind my back and went to set up a profit. So I got a court there. I go down there and I see all the police that lock me up. Instantly, I get mad. I'm like, these people lock me up. What this is? So he was like, remember, I said, no. You can't come and agree to me that. So he tricked me and told me that if I agree to the proffer, I get my charges dismissed because they violated, and he gonna point out all the facts. But the proffer really was a meeting with all the investigators and stuff. So me and him get an argument in front of them. I told him he fired. So I went back to the jail.
So your initial attorney, and when you say a federal defender, this is someone that the state gave you, the state gave you to represent you, right? In your federal case.
The United States gave me.
The United States.
Yeah, you gotta be specific when you talk about federal.
Okay. So the federal government, because it's a federal case, assigned you a federal public defender. Is that correct? Okay. And the federal public defender entered in and, started talking immediately that this case was BS and you could beat it and this and that. But the federal defender wanted you to cooperate.
Right. That's everything he kept saying. So now it's like it's me and I'm in the feds. So I'm like, I never think I'd be in the feds. I didn't even believe the feds were real at this time.
And how old were you? Do you remember? Were you in your early 20s when you?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
Like in 2015, I was in like 22, 21, something like that.
You were young.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your attorney said, he's going to get you off, but then you got pulled over into a room and you saw all of these investigators and these police, and they wanted you to make a proffer. Can you explain to the people a little bit about what a proffer is or what they wanted you to do?
Okay. They wanted information. they was like, when I walked in, they were laughing and stuff. So when I looked, I was like, I'm like, what? Cause I thought I was tripping. So my lawyer walked in with the U.S. attorney.
Mm.
So I'm like, what this here? So everybody started laughing when they heard me say, what this here? He like, she's like, you need a moment with your client? He like, yeah, they walked out. And then me and him was in the room. So I'm like, what this here? These the police that locked me up. He said, yeah, you just, I said, no, you told me that we were going to go in front of the judge and explain it. Because the evidence in my case, the video was tampered with.
Mm-hmm.
The video in front of Jim, it was jumping and skipping. And they thought I didn't know no better. They thought I was stupid. So I pointed out to the lawyer that they tampered with the evidence. This is a dismissal.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like it. So anyway, he used that to trick me to go. So we was in that, or he like, if you get them whatever information they want to know, they can sweep this case under the rug. I don't have any information. Long story short, the prosecutor came back in. They came back in, and they said, hey, Miss Kobe, you ready to talk? I said, we ain't got nothing to talk about. So he really tried to convince me to talk to them. So I'm like, I don't got nothing to talk about. I lied, you know what I mean? I made this stuff up, and you see what it got me to. It got me in the feds. So anyway,
So that was your first attorney?
yeah, that was his name, Robert Mack.
Okay, you pointing him out now.
His name Robert Mack. He's a judge right now, I think, in Clay County.
Oh, really? He does that in Clay
black
County.
guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I seen his flyer on the side of the road, but I had to leave because I didn't want to, damage it, and they tried to lock me up for it, so I just left. But that was my first attorney, Robert Mack, and then my second attorney was.
Wait, let me just jump in to highlight this, guys. The attorney, the federal attorney that Woody had that tricked him, that tried to trick him, that tried to go in behind his back, pure corruption, is now a judge down here. Is now a judge. Y'all see how deep-seated this corruption down here can be. So that was your first attorney on that case. And then so you fired him. You told him you fired. And then you got another one, right?
I had to lie on him. I had to lie on him. He wouldn't get off my case.
Really?
Yeah. I said something that was very inappropriate. And no, I'm lying. That's the second. So I fired two lawyers. The second lawyer I lied on.
Okay, what happened with the second lawyer?
Okay, the second lawyer, our first time meeting, he came, he said, I read the letter, what you said about the last attorney. You don't have to have trust issues with me. He said, but first thing first, let's get it out of the way. Did you do this to such and such? And instantly, right then and there, I knew it was a problem with him. So I'm like, bro, I'm locked up for a possession of a firearm. We ain't gonna talk about nothing that they ain't charged with. So I had somebody, I can't say too much, but I had somebody I used to talk to, and that person was very intelligent when it came to law. And I used to have him in my ear, so he used to teach me how to case study. He used to teach me how to understand things. I had him to write letters to the judge on my behalf as me to fire these attorneys. And I was explaining to him what it was doing, and he didn't like it. So long story short, the second attorney, I pointed out all the things that he was doing wrong. I really beat my federal case, but it's due to the fact the lawyer was smarter than me. So he'll argue this point right here and let this point slide through so that they can have me. So I wrote one lawyer trying to fire him, but when I was trying to fire him, I said, I don't trust my attorney. I feel like he is working with the U.S. Attorney Office, and he's trying to help the police about cases and charges that I don't got pending. And every time he come visit me, he talk about cooperating. So the judge was like, well, that's not enough to fire my attorney. And my attorney was like, well, Your Honor, I want to continue to work on his case. So I'm telling the judge, like, how you going to still represent me after I say all this about him? I'm not going to be able to have a fair trial. Another year go by, they make me keep him. Another year go by.
Were you locked up the whole time, or did you have a bond?
I stayed in jail. I stayed in the feds 40 months before I was sentenced.
Damn.
Yeah, because I constantly kept writing the letters to the judge, trying to find my attorneys. So the second attorney, which his name is Bill Thomas or William Thomas, another black guy. Once he got on my case, one day he came and told me I've been charged with murder. So I'm like, how am I been charged with murder? He said, well, some people pointed me out, said I did it. He said, it's BS. Don't worry about it. He gonna represent me on that. I said, no, you ain't gonna represent me on that.
Was this a separate case or was this related to the recreational center? Or it was a whole separate incident?
It is the case that other people are facing. It's a case that's open right now.
Okay.
So he was like, he gonna defend me on it, and I like, no, you ain't. So long story short, he constantly kept saying cooperate. So I kept writing down little things that he was doing. And I was pointing out facts in my case where I could have beated it, and he kept talking about cooperate and this and that. So after the judge denied me the first time, I had to build a stronger case against him, and I did. During my motion to suppress evidence, I was explaining that the video was tampered with. I was detained before the police saw that any illegal activity had happened. So when they came in, I was playing basketball with my shirt off. You don't see me with no weapon on me. I didn't match the description because they said the person had on a white shirt and blue jeans. So the police said he detained me because, he knew me to be gang affiliated and his senses are heightened when he see me.
Jesus.
So he detained me before he knew it was a weapon in that bag. So the police started lying. They started saying that I request to speak to the gang unit. Why do I want to request to speak to somebody who got it out for me?
Right.
So they start making their arguments off lies. And I'm telling my lawyer like they lying. Why would I request to speak to these people? They the ones trying to lock me up. Long story short, the lawyer, he got me to that point. So I went to court. I told the judge I had this person to write this letter on my behalf. And he did it so good, the judge called me to court like a week later.
Wow.
We got in front of the judge. She said, you can talk freely. So the judge's name is Amy Totenberg. She's the best person in the world. She said, you can talk, Mr. Copeland. I said, Your Honor, this man here been coming to me about cooperating about something I don't know nothing about. I said, he come ask me about murder charges that I don't know nothing about. And then she be like, okay, Mr. Copeland, but those ain't reason to fire your attorney. I said, well, one day he came and saw me and he rubbed against my behind.
Oh, yeah, all right. Here we go. You were trying to get that man off that case, huh?
So the lawyer looked at me. He looked at me and be like, what? So he was so mad that I told the judge that. Me and him arguing in front of the judge. So she like, he could talk. So he tell the judge, I'm a liar. All I do is lie, whatever. So the judge take her glasses off. She like, Mr. Copeland, are you serious? I said, Your Honor, I don't want to press charges against him. I forgive him. I prayed about it.
I forgive him, Judge.
I should have pressed charges against him. But I said that, we arguing. I told the judge, you just need this much brain to defend me on this, to represent me on this case. I said, he don't have any. The video is tampered with. He arguing I did not abandon the bag by leaving it on the side. Instead of the fact that I was detained and placed under arrest before the police even knew it was a gun in the bag. That's when my constitutional right was violated. So the judge was like, yeah, I have an issue with that too. So she was like, yeah. So she basically started agreeing with me. Don't you know that this attorney had a nerve to have another attorney come? So like, who this dude is in the back? Because this is a private, it was a sealed hearing. So the attorney, William Thomas, was like, well, he had him to come just in case the judge removed him off the case, that him and this attorney been working closely on my case. So I'm like, well, Your Honor, I ain't never knew nothing about this dude working with my case, and I didn't give him permission for that. Right. And if I'm having issues with him, I don't want him representing me either, because they are both trying to make me cooperate with this U.S. attorney. So the judge like, yeah, she like, I have an issue with that because she decide who my case gonna go to. So finally she got him out the case and told the other dude he can get on up out of here. And I got another lady, Sarah Lynn Smith.
Okay, and let's just jump in for a second now. When you have these federal defenders, I mean, you were young at the time. You're 21, 22. So it's not like you had a lot of money to be paying lawyers, especially for a federal case. Because guys, lawyers, it's not like a menu at a restaurant. We don't all have the same prices. You say, well, Lead, how do attorneys come up with their prices? Honestly, guys, tell you the truth, we just make them up. And we just make them up out of our heads. And if you come to me and you look a certain way with certain charges, I'm going to give you one price. But if someone else come to me and they look a certain way with the same charges, they're going to get another price. So many things involve what your price is going to be. And a big factor in your price is going to be your charges. A big factor is going to be whether it's state or federal, but also a factor is going to be if I think you can pay some money. If you walk in a t-shirt, that's one thing. If you walk in a 3-piece suit, you might get another charge, a different price, a higher price. But typically a federal case is going to be worth more. You're going to get a higher price than a state case. Did you try to look, Little Woody, for any attorneys, any private attorneys that you could, or you just knew that you were never going to be able to pay that type of price?
Yeah, I didn't have no support. I didn't even have money to go commissary, so it wasn't even gonna be no. It wasn't even. And in the feds, you don't even need to pay attorney. You just need it because the public defender, the federal defender, they're gonna be better than most paid attorneys. Paid attorneys are snakes. If you ain't got no relationship with them, a good bond with them, you just can't hire any lawyer.
True. Some of these lawyers out here are gangsters. They'll take your money faster than any street ninja. They really will. And it's harder to find attorneys who are good at federal law than attorneys that are good at state law. A lot of attorneys are good at state law, but when your case is federal, you got a much smaller pool.
But the difference about the federal, right? Federal go more off the guidelines.
Yes.
So it's easy to fight a federal case as long as the feds ain't been investigating you. So if the feds adopt a state case, like they pick up a state case, you can beat it. Because the state, they just do anything. But if the feds investigating you, then, you might as well just go ahead and lay down.
Well, see, I think you're right. And I think that's what your federal defenders were saying. Because everybody knows that the prosecutors, they got like a 95, 96, 98 conviction rate. So when you say, oh, well, you might as well lay down, it sounds like that's what your attorneys were saying in terms of you cooperating, right? Just go on and tell them what you got.
It's a difference. So if the feds investigating you, what they're going to do is they're going to watch you until they got everything they want against you. The state, if they pick up a state case, basically they're saying like, okay, Atlanta police, they built a profile on me and gave it to the feds. Like, okay, he's a problem in the community in Atlanta. So what they did was they finally got a case and they sent it over to the feds. Feds like, okay, we got a case. And then the feds go from there. But Atlanta police had already broke procedures.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the feds didn't do their investigation in your wreck case. They got their workup from the state.
It was an intimidation, right? But when they got me over there, it was different because I seen that they were trying to intimidate me. So when you try to intimidate me, then you just got to come on with it.
Right.
And once I noticed that they were trying to scare me, I was like, okay, I dropped my nuts.
And you wouldn't tell them the information that they wanted to know.
Yeah, right.
You know gotcha.
What I mean? So they try to have so many meetings. You know what the prosecutor told me? She said when I cussed my lawyer out in front of them, she said, okay, Mr. Copeland, contact your attorney when you're ready to cooperate. I was like, what? They told me it's two types of people in the feds. Ones that cooperate and the ones that wish they cooperate. I said it's three. Because you got the ones like me too, the ones with a point to prove.
Right.
I went back to the jail and that's when I fired him.
That was your second attorney?
That was the first attorney.
The first attorney, gotcha.
The second attorney, he wasn't get out my case for nothing. It took 2 years for me to fire him.
Jesus. I was like, so you fired him because you made up that lie about him touching your butt, right? Yeah. So you got him off your case by any means necessary. If it's your life, it's your life. You ain't no holding back.
I got the transcripts. Like I still got the papers at the house where I can show you. I told the judge I fear for my life because this is the person who my life is in his hand.
Yes.
You know what his argument is? His argument was justification, not public safety, justification. Like he basically trying to say I had the firearm. But is you crazy?
Right.
he trying to say I had it because people were trying to do harm to me. So I'm telling him if there was the law and if there was truth, I wouldn't be sitting in jail under this charge.
Right.
They found possession is 9/10 of the law. They mean it got to be an arm reach. It got to be on my person. Mm-hmm. You ain't have no knowledge that I had this firearm. Because when the police came in, he saw me, I was playing basketball. Mm. And it was people sitting with this bag. The video showed people was going in the bag and everything.
Wow.
And it was tampered with, it was skipping. So you can't say if somebody came in the gym and put it in that bag. Because my attention was focused on basketball. Right. And all the people that was in the gym, nobody said the police were coming in. Once I looked up, it was 30 police in the gym.
So because the video could have showed other people who had access to the bag put the machine gun in, but the video was clipped up and chopped up. It was tampered with. Right. And so there was really no evidence connecting you to that gun because you were on the court playing basketball. But
the evidence that they had was I had on True Religion shirt and True Religion pants. The 911 caller described me as a white True Religion shirt and blue True Religion pants. So, and they said I was in the recreation center, but he never said a crime was committed. He just said a person in the gym got a machine gun.
I mean, Georgia is an open carry state, but a machine.
That connection. So while we salute squad, well, Woody never came back, but he gave us a lot of intel. Well, Woody never came back, but he gave us a lot of intel. Well, Woody never came back. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. We got. Anyway, I want to say this. It sounds like Woody got a few trades up under his belt. Yeah, he done committed some crimes. Yeah, he violated the street code. But life goes on. And at this point, if he make the right decisions, he just may be able to dig up out that hole he in. Anyway, my concern though is right now Woody is a sworn witness. He's currently a sworn witness in the Young Thug YSL RICO trial, right? And I'm wondering if all these public appearances can come back to bite him. Stay tuned for more, y'all. If you didn't know, the judge in the trial has been replaced. Well, actually, they got another judge that's viewing the motions that was filed against the current Judge Glanville to recuse himself. But I have seen a couple of things out there that he was replaced, but that's neither here nor there. It hasn't been confirmed by me yet, nor Fly High Production, so we're not gonna put that out there. But as for right now, I'm gonna keep us abreast of this trial here, and I'm also gonna go back and we're gonna go back and recap some things to bring everybody up to speed, because I see by viewing the comments and everybody who's been contacting me that we're a little more so interested in this YSL trial, RICO trial, than we thought, huh? Nevertheless, Fly High Productions, I am Mr. Follow Up. Squad up.